Namaste, beautiful yogis. Welcome to Ali Kamanova Yoga. I'm Ali, and I promise to come back with a note. I would call it a note on Bach Flower Remedies. Now, I was just getting ready to shoot this video, and I realized that we have to leave early because Lori has to meet a friend of hers. So my daughter has to meet a friend. So I figured, well, sometimes a shorter video is maybe more helpful. Bach Flower Remedies. Bach was a physician in the 1800s in England. He came from a Welsh family, so the Welsh pronunciation is Bach. In England, he was called Bach. So either way, I think both names were used depending. His actual pronunciation would have been Bach in the Welsh tradition, more like Bach. Anyways, so because some people call him Bach, and I had called him Bach in Bulgarian for so long that when I heard Bach, I thought I have been calling him wrong all along, because that would have been the more English German pronunciation. Anyways, I came across his the idea of his remedies when I was maybe 18. I bought a book. I was an avid reader and book buyer. I would just buy everything on the market that was coming out, and specifically related to healing and alternative medicine and stuff like this, spirituality too. So I found a book, Bach Flower Remedies. I've never heard of them. They weren't selling them. They weren't on the market. It was just a book that I bought. Once I read the concept of it, I was blown away. Now, he's a mind that is not tuned into the Western type of thinking. He was a microbiologist, pathologist. He studied medicine, I think, for a whole 10-year period. He had cancer when he was very young, worked, I think, with soldiers that came home from World War, it would have been one maybe, that dealt with shell shock and all kinds of post-traumatic stress disorder. He worked with them. He worked with homeopathy and immunity related to homeopathy for many years, until he realized he doesn't want anything, because he was a bacteriologist. He was exploring the bacteria in the intestinal tract and creating immunology kind of homeopathic preparations based on the gut bacteria. He didn't call it microbiome at the time, but it's quite interesting. Anyways, he realized he doesn't want to work with any sick material from humans, animals, etc. He only wants to work with plants and flowers. And he developed his first remedy from a flower. It is not homeopathic, but it's closer to homeopathic medicine than anything else. It's flowers that work on the constitution, on the emotional state of the person. The emotional state creates the type of disease. So we all get thrown out of balance, but how it will express itself is really based on our emotional state. His remedies, he eventually ended up making 38 remedies. And they go from fear, loneliness, insecurity, not being self-contained enough, things like this, loss of energy, being really, really exhausted, things like this in life, just being desperate, those types of emotions. And he would have, like, for example, for fear, he would have about 5 different flowers. He would make the imprint of the flower on water, either in the sun or boiled, and then that would be the mother tincture, and that a drop of that or 2 drops of that in a lot of water, and that drops of that dilution would go to the patient or to the person. He had great success. I think it's medicine that is not compatible with Western thinking, with the Western mind, with Western mentality, so it's really difficult to translate it in our heads. He was absolutely genius. I love studying the work of people that were genius. Robert Bach was one of them. I'm reading his book, but very slowly. Béchamp, Antoine Béchamp was an absolute genius. So Bach, when I read it at 18, I didn't have access to the flower remedies, but I was blown away. I got the idea. I got it. This person, Dr. Edward Bach, came here with a mission to give something to humanity, and he had to create a full system. He wanted it to be simple and out of nature with no science in it, because science, he thought, will dilute it, will take away from it. He burnt all the paperwork that he had, all the stuff that he had written around it, that led to the discoveries. He would just go under a tree and get overcome with emotion, or he would get overcome with like a sinus infection, and will come up with a remedy. So everything was really like strong and cathartic and intense in discovering the remedies. Like the sinus infection will give him like a kind of like a desperation about living in life, and that will give him cherry blossom, cherry plum remedy, stuff like that. He would discover it through his own emotional cleansing, right? He would feel it. He would feel the plant. The way plants behave in nature is very profound. They don't have the kind of logic and system we have. They have a pure existence in a different way, different consciousness. So he tuned into them and realized how to observe them and how they can serve our emotionality. So he was genius. He developed a system, and when he was done with the system, he actually died young. It was, I think, 30 years after his diagnosis of cancer. So he lived for the entire time until he was finished with his system. He left for each remedy, 38 remedies altogether, he left one strong line, like just like a sentence. He didn't want us to get bogged down with endless explanation. He wanted it to be simple as it's felt in his body. So they're very, very simple. Now, the way they work for me is I get given those ones. Every time I have gotten a remedy for someone else, but then I just take it, it works for me. So it's almost like this, whenever I'm in the mode of giving someone, getting something for someone, and I take it, it's weird. That's how the ones that have changed my life have worked the most. I have recently, when I was dealing with this whole perimenopause or moving or just feeling completely kind of uprooted period in my life, the main thing that got me out of that state of mind and spiritual state was one of his flower essences. It was the right one. So when you get them, sometimes you can have just one and see how it works. You will feel it. Some of them will not work for you. Some of them will be the one for the state you're in. Some of them you have to get attracted to them intuitively. You can go to a Bach flower remedy specialist, and they will prescribe based on the description of your symptoms. So you have to decide for yourself how to go about choosing one. You can choose by description, by the way the remedy looks, meaning the flower looks, etc. So it's really, really powerful. They're powerful. They have had in a few occasions in my life, they have been life-changing and direction-changing. They're very powerful in separations, like when you're going through transition and separating from a partner. Very powerful to get you into the right state of mind for a new direction. Powerful in the state of fear. For me, I was in the state of kind of over exhaustion and just unable to, everything was too much. And I was in the emotional state of Aspen. So when I took Aspen, I had no body for me, which is for generalized fear. Oftentimes the way they work is you take them and you don't remember that you ever felt that way. They so much transform you on a deep soul level. So you have to decide how to go about them. Try them. I think the more you refine yourself through yoga and breath work and all of that, the more effective they would be on you. So I think there is some level of refinement. They're like homeopathy, but more refined. And even though we're living, I figured I forgot to say a few more things, important things. Even after years of working in a lab, he worked in lab setting, and he developed homeopathic vaccines. So he was working with intestinal bacteria, and he realized he connected disease states to certain bacteria or lack thereof in the intestinal tract of humans. He worked for many, I think a few decades in a lab. He eventually decided that medicine should have no side effects, should cause no harm, should heal the person on a very deep level, and it should be profound. Basically, he created profound medicine that goes from the deeper layers, from the soul layers, from the emotional state of the being into what the emotional state causes on the physical plane. So he believed in medicine very pure. He moved away from bacteria of sick humans or even, just sick tissue, purified, of course, in whatever lab work he was doing. He moved deeper into the medicine, the pharmacy of God. He believed healing should be from God, and in nature, I think, is where he discovered true deep healing, which I feel has not been captured yet, and it's for us to fully grasp what he has given us, along a lot of other people that were absolute genius. As I mentioned, Robert Bach and his work with electricity, because we're electric beings. So that was the little addition I wanted to make. There is more about him. He was a profound person. His healing system is profound, and it's not heavy chemicals that affect the physical. So that's why you can see how it's difficult to understand with a very materialistic mind, which science is. If you remember my last video, I was talking about I read to you an email that I received from one of my beautiful yogis. So she sent me the recipe for her phenomenal forage smoothie. So it was dates or mango and some fruits and vegetables and forage things. But she says she also forages for dandelions and mulberry leaves. So I was like, oh, mulberry leaves. I have so many. And I decided to start adding them to the things and experimenting with recipes. But I have to show you my mostly raw bars that I made. Hold on, I gotta bring them because I forgot. Okay, so I ran out to grab the bars. So made these bars. I have posted the entire recipe on YouTube on posts, so it's kind of like a picture with the description, but there they are. Oh my goodness, it's literally the best recipe I've ever made. It tastes very much, my mom used to make like a syrup soaked cake. It tastes like that. They're just coconut, certain nut butters, tahini, soaked dates, carrot. So it's a carrot cake, but then I covered it with kind of melted chocolate with some tahini in it, and I swirled it in. So that's why the top is more chocolatey than, I didn't leave it as a chocolate layer, but I kind of mixed it, with the fork, mix it in, and then it goes in the fridge, and it's pretty firm, but also kind of juicy. It's, of all the recipes I've made of that variety, kind of raw snack things, this is my by far most favorite recipe because it's not super dense and dry. I don't like those very dry recipes, and the way to make them soft is just a lot of oil or nut butter or honey. This has actual water in it from the soaked dates and carrots, and when you bite into it with the coconut, lots of coconut, it's kind of juicy, like a syrup soaked cake. It's really good. Soaked dates, carrots, coconut flakes. I added protein powder for the batch, 2 scoops. It just depends how much you want to thicken it. I added that at the end. Tahini, peanut butter, chocolate chips at the top that are melted, and I pour them, but they make it a little more like easy to cut into proper squares. Carrots, oats. I blended some of the coconut flakes, and some I left whole so that there is a little crunch. The whole recipe is on my post. It's also on Instagram. It's really easy. It's just blending and mixing, and that's it. And you put it in the dish, chill it. It's delicious. I was going to talk more about my experience with Bach Flower Remedies. I've made them. But here I talked a little more about him. He was an exceptional man with an exceptional mind. Those types of minds are more, I'm in line with those types of minds. So a lot of, regular medicine would not accept them. He was actually also a surgeon and quite the studied man. But he had come here with a mission. He was a very spiritual man. He was very familiar with, he was really into God and into healing through God. And I'm sure there is a lot more I can study about him, about, if he has left some more writings about his spiritual beliefs and how he viewed nature, but he really felt nature and flowers in a very intense way. I mean, he was feeling the emotions, the state of consciousness that the flower would heal. Sometimes it's desperation, absolute desperation, no will to live, right? And he would go into that, make the remedy, and that would be the creation of the remedy. And he would write one line and wanted one line for it, not an essay, not complication. All right, I gotta go. This is a cashmere top. I have a bathing suit underneath, but I started only wearing for 90% of the time cashmere bras or tops or tanks, like these short bra type bralettes, and I don't think I'll go back. They're so good. And those are organic shorts. So just to refer back to the shift in wardrobe. I just ran out to grab this plate to show you, and I ran to the fridge and I was like, hold on, I'm almost done shooting. I gotta grab my bars to show to my friends. And Lori looked at me because she knows very well, and I said, I have friends online. If you have any questions, if you have experienced some exceptional healing with flower remedies, please let me know their particular thing. They're not very super ultra common. They're less common than homeopathy. I have had exceptional healing with cayenne, which is not one of the original 38, wild oats from the original, aspen from the original, and some other. Elm is kind of an exhausted state. Olive is restoring when you're completely drained and drained completely. I really love olive blossoms as it is. We have a lot of olive trees. They are fantastic. There's just such energy in an olive tree, such particular energy. So let me know, post in the comments below. Not only this, if you don't have experiences with flower remedies, post whatever has helped you, because one of you said that she had used Crystal Star female balance, and I ordered it. It looks exactly like a discontinued remedy I used to use in the past, and I have not heard of the Crystal Star one. Looked at the ingredients, they're the same. I was like, maybe I made this video for that comment. So thanks for the comments, and I'll see you soon. Namaste.